See, once I am saying that Marx was a philosopher, then I want to explain his ideas of a dialectical materialism. The philosophy of Marx lies in a dialectical materialism. And this is the core idea of Marx. And you know that dialectical materialism was very important. But if you want to say how Marx is scientist, so obviously you see his economics, his class struggle. See, he's a very much scientific, how he explain history, because economics, his entire interpretation of a society, state, religion, everything depends upon the economics. Everything is a material factor. So Marx doesn't accept the ideas, and he was criticizing utopian socialist. So obviously he was economist. Once Marx tells about why Marx is a scientific, having the scientific bent of mind. Therefore, for Marx, everything depends upon the scientific interpretation, material interpretation. Therefore, Marx was a scientist. That time and again we are repeating the same. But once I am saying that Marx is revolutionary, see, he believed in a unity of theory and practice. If we want to explain that Marx was revolutionary, what we want to explain? Theory of unity of theory and action. We believe in the unity of theory and action. And therefore, what Marx very famously said in the thesis of Feuerbach, so many people have interpreted the world differently. And what is my target is to bring about change in this world. Therefore, once Marx was revolutionary, he believed in praxis. So what was purpose of Marx? Marx was only interested for showing the exploitation that goes on in society. That was not his purpose. He was not merely interested to have an intellectual interpretation of the society, that how even economics is very much controlled by the few in the people, that is the capitalist. How bourgeoisie exploiting the proletariat, that is philosophy. How class came into existence, how history is moving from one part of history to other part of history. So how history is moving from the primitive communism to the capitalism, this is the philosophical. This is a theory at all. But what was more important, only describing that capitalism is exploitative, or also creating a movement for demolishing the capitalism. My dear friend, even so many people has always been a great scholar, but they were not the practitioner. Let's see, Plato was one of the great philosophers, but could not implement his own ideas in the practice. But so many people, and Machiavelli was statesman but not philosopher. Machiavelli believed in statesman. Machiavelli thought that even he was a very much believing in the practice of the politics. He has nothing to do with philosophy. And here Marx, in that sense, he was unique. He was a philosopher, was explaining history, society, and politics. See, teaching a political science and contesting for election is two different things. Whether a professor of political science should contest election or not, oh no, my God, so many teachers are contesting election right from, I don't want to name the subject, but so many teachers, and they are entitled to contest election because it is our democratic right. So anybody can contest election. So whether should I teach only subject, or should I also work at the street for bringing about consciousness among the people? I am only teaching class consciousness, doing nothing at the street. If next day I will come with a bag and I will keep a formula for revolution, I mean, I will distribute the pamphlet among the students ready for class struggle now. Ready. At the next 15th August, I am going to organize a protest at Jantar Mantar. This is the practice. I never attended any protest in Jantar Mantar. I am only teaching political science. Theory, theory, theory. Marx was not only explaining the society, so many people explain the society. What is new in that? And what is new in that? Marx was revolutionary. Marx was activist. You want to become intellectual or you want to become activist? Marx was intellectual and most importantly, he was an activist. Founded Communist International. Communist International was an organization that was comprised of all the people and who were very much committed for bringing about revolution. And the very interesting point is that once we speak for the action, you need ideas or you must be like a scientist. What is important in action? Ideas. Once you are approaching the people, you must have some ideas because you change the ideas of others. Therefore, that's very interesting. Once you are saying that Marx is a scientist, what scientists are saying that Earth revolve around Sun. So what is our contribution? We are also pushing Earth? Not at all. Therefore, if you look science, scientific rules, scientific principles work without any intervention of human being. We don't have an intervention. There is a sunrise from the east. What is our contribution? We are pushing sun, or we are making alarm. Alarm baja diya, then sun is rising from this. Not going to happen. Therefore, don't you think that it is a very much complex equation? Once Marx says that he is a scientist, and let's see the explanation of his history. History is moving because of the changing of economic factors, means of production, relation of production. Changing relation of production is changing means of production. Changing means of production is having changing relation of production. On that basis, he is saying that the seed of destruction of capitalism lies within the capitalism. It means he was coming to the conclusion that there will be destruction of capitalism in days to come. So if destruction of capitalism will happen just like rise of sun, according to scientists. Are you getting the ideas? Because Marx was rejecting the idea of consciousness. Marx was saying that ideas are not important, it's material factor. If material factor are shaping the evolution of history, then the question is that what was intervention of human ideas? And once Marx speak like scientist, then what we think that material factors are more important for shaping our destiny. So whatever our ideas are there, ideologies are there, state, religion, that is merely reflection of economics. Therefore, one science is there. Human intervention is automatically minimized. रेल कहीं जा रही है और अचानक कोई रेल के आगे कूद गया, कुछ नहीं होगा ना, वो तो जाएगा. So the question is that once Marx become revolutionary, it appears that ideas are very important. Human consciousness is very important. Who will bring about revolution? Material factor or the human intervention? Are you getting the point? If you are involving larger debate, otherwise, see, because these are basics, historical materialism, dialectical materialism, because dialectical materialism is very much attached with these ideas. Because so many people ask the question that if let's see the analysis of Marx and history, then you will find out that it is the economics are the important factor. Means of production is changing related to relation of production. And thereafter, what happens in capitalism? Because there is a more and more production, less consumption. That lead to the fire of workers. Ultimately, there is lockdown, and this material condition create a consciousness among the workers. And first time it will be like class consciousness. There is opinion of Marx. So for Marx, no political party is there. for raising class consciousness. How class consciousness emerged? Because of the material factors. And what are material factors? Class divided society, industrialization, urbanization. Therefore, Marx says that revolution will not take place before the arrival of a capitalist society. Revolution is not going to take place before capitalism because the material conditions were absent before the capitalism. Material condition first time that is a became complete in the phase of capitalism. So don't you think that material factors are more important for bringing down the capitalism or the leadership of Marxist parties, communist parties? If we are recognizing that human intervention is important, then we are realizing that no, he was not only scientist, he was revolutionary. And he never considered a human being just like an atom. He never considered a human being as just like working for the satisfying of the physical need. If we want to get answer of his ideas of revolutionary or praxis, praxis means practice. Praxis means theory of action. If you want to understand whether he was a revolutionary or scientist, we will get answer from this idea that is a dialectical materialism. We can get ideas from this concept, dialectical materialism. So let's see what is a dialectical materialism. You remember, first Marx criticized Hegelian dialectics or Hegelian dialectical idealism that I have told you. Because who propounded dialectics? Hegel. But for Hegel, what is the essence of dialectics? Ideas, universal spirit. For Marx, what is a dialectics? It means development is neither linear nor circular. Because every philosopher is dealing with ideas of development of history, development of society. Therefore, through dialectics, what Marx says that what is a linear method of development? Development never repeats itself. History never repeats itself. Linear method of development. History is not going to repeat itself once we are going ahead. Past is past. Then there is a circular method of development. You know that just like in Greek age, circular method of development means the same form of government come in and again, a monarchy, aristocracy, oligarchy, democracy. This revolves automatically. There is a repetition of fashion. Once we are living in one stage of fashion, other, then what happens? The mode of fashion change. Let's see. That is the point. We are witnessing the repetition of classics in Indian cinema. Now the re-release of Gurudutt, then Sholay, then so many movies are there. This is circular method of development, but dialectics believe neither linear nor circular. What is dialectics? That moves in form of zigzag. Therefore, this is thesis, antithesis, and then it is a synthesis. Thesis, antithesis, synthesis. Just like capitalism is a thesis, because in capitalism there is a government by few. Dictatorship of the proletariat is a antithesis, because there is a government by majority. Communism is a synthesis, no government at all, either minority or majority. Marx never opposed about the machine tools. Marx was not like Gandhi. Gandhi was opposing heavy industrialization, machines and tools. But what Marx says that Marxian concerned that these factories should be under control of working class. That was his assumption. Finally, this will be under control of entire community, neither working class nor capitalist class, because this will be a classless society. Capitalism is also class-based society where few are ruling over majority. Dictatorship of the proletariat is also class-based society where majority is ruling over minority. Just opposite to each other. Therefore, from here, we are getting machines in the communism. From here, majority. So what is a dictate? What is a dialectics? Every element of every stage of development is having some positive idea. And therefore, finally, synthesis is a combination of good element of both thesis as well as antithesis. We are leaving out the negative part of element of both. The synthesis earlier, there was a movies of Rajesh Khanna, love story. Oh my God. जब राजेश खन्ना की मूवी ने देखी 70s में, कोई मूवी में कोई फाइटिंग नहीं, कोई झगड़े नहीं. देयर आफ्टर एंटीथीसिस अमिताभ बच्चन, मारा पीटा, जहां देखो उसी में लड़ाई झगड़े. थीसिस टू एंटीथीसिस. एंड देन सिंथेसिस अक्षय कुमार, माला माल वीकली. देयर इज लव स्टोरी टू एंड देयर इज द fighting also goes on. Both is synthesized. Both is synthesized. Let's see. Spiritualism of India with the scientific knowledge of West, antithesis. If both are synthesized by Aurobindo, synthesis. Therefore, in your life too, unemployment, being a student is a thesis. Once you get the government job, antithesis. But once you become PM and president, synthesis. Because president is not a employees of government of India. So that you can final stage of development. Synthesis is a final stage of development. And this is the apex of development that is set by Marx. And that development happened through matter or through ideas. What is a dialectical method of development? What is the essence of dialectics? That is a matter, economic factor. Matter here refers to relation of production, forces of production, that is matter. Entire dialectics is a moving through material factor. Hegel says that entire dialectics is moving through the universal spirit idea. But this is initial idea of a dialectical. But what does it mean by materialism? Materialism simply means it is not idealism like Hegel. But once we speak for a materialism of Marx, you know that this is a debatable idea. How we can understand materialism of Marx? This is a dialectics. Thesis, antithesis, synthesis. Therefore, this society is very much progressive. We are moving in a more positive direction. Every phase of history is a more developed in the context of its previous phase. That is idea of Marxist dialectics. Therefore, Hegel want to justify the idea of nation state through dialectics. Marx says that nation state is ideology. Therefore, bourgeoisie's idea. And then, let's see, if Marx was a materialist, then the question arises that Hobbes was also materialist. Feuerbach was also materialist. Hobbes, Feuerbach written a book, Essence of Christianity. Hobbes was also materialist. Feuerbach was also materialist. Marx was criticizing Hegel, that is well known, because for Hegel, dialectics was clear, but the purpose was not important, nation state. For Hegel, what is the essence of a development? That is ideas, again problematic. Thereafter, for Marx, materialism simply means Marx was automatically criticizing Hegel, idealism. And Marx is idealist. Marx is a materialist, criticizing idealism. But Hobbes was also materialist. Therefore, Hobbesian materialism is known as scientific materialism. Marxian materialism are very different from Hobbesian. Why? Very interesting fact. Hobbesian materialism is more like physics. Because Hobbes believed that once matter moves ahead, what Hobbes believes that once matter is move ahead, who gives movement in matter? Because Hobbes believe in matter and movement. The question is that who is giving movement in the matter? Who is giving movement in the matter? Outside force. That is the basic belief of physics. If there is a movement in fan given by electricity, if we are throwing a ball will cover a distance in proportion to what force I am putting in the ball. Therefore, this idea of physics is very important for Hobbes. Hobbes believe in idea of Galileo. He was very influenced from the physicist. And what physics believe that motion is given from outside. Motion doesn't exist inside the matter. If you are saying that motion doesn't exist inside matter, motion cannot move alone. We need some external force for the movement of the matter. Marx believe quite different. Marx believe opposite. Marx said that no, motion lies within the matter. Marx said that motion lies within the matter. That's very interesting. Motion is not given from outside. And you know that Marx has very much examined the idea of Hobbes. And Marx says that why there is a problem in Hobbes? Because Hobbes believed that motion is coming from outside. And if motion is coming from outside, therefore this motion, the movement of motion, movement of matter can be applied universally. Because rule of physics is universal. But society is very much changing. How we can have a movement in the motion like feudal age to capitalist age? Marx said that method of physics is not appropriate for explaining society, but dialectics. Again, I'm repeating. A very important line. Method of physics is not important for explaining society and history, because society and history, they are moving in a direction. Unlike of material world is very much static. Therefore, physics is not sufficient for understanding history and state and economics. They are continuously moving. Mode of production changing from time to time. Even history changing from time to time. Society and state is also changing. Earlier regulative state, then welfare state. Dialectics is a method which is appropriate for explaining the changing the society. Physics is not appropriate. Physics is only appropriate for studying objects in this universe. In politics, we want to read out human ideas, human activities, movement of history, movement of society. Therefore, Marx says that no, dialectics is better than physics. Let's see his genius. Here, Marx is accepting dialectics is better than physics. But I can ask a question. If a movement lies within the matter, then there is a two question. Then, how history move? Automatic. How we can have a movement of history? Automatic. Even movement of history is not impacted by any external force, number one. Second, there is no external agency involved in movement of history. Then second question, how this movement of matter suddenly come to halt in the stage of communism? Remember, I'm again repeating, if this is the belief of Marx, that motion is automatic in the matter, not coming from outside. So can you imagine once this motion will come to halt? Motion will never come to halt. It will be goes on forever. And that is a philosophical puzzle of Marxism. How you can imagine about stopping of motion somewhere if you believe that motion lies within the matter? But second question, if Marx was so much materialist, then what was again role of human being if motion lies in matter, materialism going ahead? So there was what was role of a human being in changing society and history? That was again question. This he replied while criticizing Feuerbach. He was not agree with Marx. He never criticized Marx. Marx never criticized Hobbes. He was criticizing Feuerbach. Why? Feuerbach says that what is written by Feuerbach? Is it clear? How Marxist materialism is different from Hobbesian materialism? Can you tell me how? How Marxist, this is a debate of Marxism. And now you can imagine the philosophy of Marxism. What a brilliant person he was. He was a great philosopher. But again, I'm asking what I have told you. How Marxist materialism is different from the materialism of Hobbes. Hobbes has nothing to do with history. Hobbes has nothing to do with society. For Hobbes, individuals just like an atom. But Marx said no, history, society. Therefore, history and society can't be understood merely through principle of physics, because it is continuously in the movement. Therefore, he applied dialectics. But once you are believe in physics, therefore method of Hobbes is appropriate, method of Galileo is appropriate. Because Hobbes never considered the importance of history and society. For Hobbes, what is important? Human being. And the nature of human being is universal. Hobbes believed that nature of human being is universal, selfish, egoist. But Marx says that according to changing of society, human nature also change. You remember? In capitalism, human nature is obviously become more selfish, egoist. That is admitted by Marx. Because why? There was social economic condition. But once there will be communism, human nature will become more benevolent, sympathetic. Because now there is no conflict between the interest of individual and the interest of community. Therefore, Marx believed in evolutionary nature of human being. Entire nature of human being depends upon the development of history and development of society. Development of history and development of society. Therefore, why he is rejecting Hobbes? That's very clear. Because Hobbes was not dealing with history and change. Marx was looking for change. And physics doesn't believe in change. Physics is very much static. Here, again, so whatever concept I am telling you, you must understand it clearly. Is clear or no? क्या? Simple सी बात है. Even why we are moving? Not because of some external force, because we are matter. Why history is moving? And what is lies within matter? Because you cannot observe matter. See means of production, relation of production. What is a medieval age? And who is pushing motion to this medieval age? Means of production, relation of production. These are material factors. Material factors means economic factors. So who is giving movement to history? Not God. You believe, just you listen the basic philosophy. Whosoever believe in God, they are not bothered about the movement of any object because God is there. So who is pushing the rise of sun? God. For Hegel, it's a very simple explanation. God is behind every force. Who created this universe? God. Who created property? God. But the person who doesn't believe in God, they have to believe that who is making movement in this universe. Therefore, itself it is movement. It is a self-automated mode. It is self-automated mode. Movement lies within the matter, not given from outside. It is a automatic movement, self-automatic. It is a train without driver. It is UAV. UAV means unmanned vehicle. It is unmanned vehicle. It is drone moving itself. That is the reason. If you don't believe in God, how you can explain that movement occurs in this world? You will explain some physical factor. Hobbes doesn't believe in God. So Hobbes says this factor is external. But Marx says that this lies within the motion. But then question arises that if this lies within the motion, matter, therefore again, then what is the role of a human being for bringing about revolution? It means that destruction of capitalism will take in place automatic. History is changing like a automatic car. See, what is the role of human being? Again, question came in the mind that what is the role of human being? Then let's see the next answer. Any problem? That is a criticism. Contradiction तो है ही है, तभी तो मैं कह रहा हूँ contradiction है, but there should be no contradiction. The highest stage of development. Look, you just believe in the basic of a dialectics. There will be contradiction in the lower stage of development, but in upper stage, no conflict, no contradiction. Therefore, interest of individual is very much coincided with interest of community. That is a feature of communism. No contradiction, the highest stage of development. Once some person becomes saint, then no contradiction lies at all. When contradiction occurs, once we are living in this material world, क्या कहाँ जाए, हरिद्वार चले जाएंगे, दिल्ली में ही रहे, contradiction है ना? We should take care of our family, or we should go ahead somewhere. Contradiction है. Once Buddha left the family, no contradiction lies in the ideas of Buddha. Contradiction was once he was living with family. Contradiction will never happen at the top of the history, apex stage of history. और कॉन्ट्रडिक्शन हो ही गया तो फिर डेवलपमेंट का हाईएस्ट का मतलब क्या होता है? जहां कॉन्ट्रडिक्शन है, दैट इज लोअर स्टेज ऑफ अ डेवलपमेंट. Contradiction will occur in the capitalism, in the feudal age, in slavery, not in communism. Any question? Then let's see how he's answering about Feuerbach. Feuerbach wrote Essence of Christianity. And see, Feuerbach said that human being makes a god. Feuerbach was very materialist. God makes human being or human being makes God? My dear friend, this is the height of materialism. That a materialist often doesn't believe in God. That is the reason they're a materialist. Materialist doesn't believe in soul. Materialist doesn't believe in God, doesn't believe in soul, doesn't believe in ideas. And if they believe in ideas, ideas is simply impact of matter. This is materialist. And see, Feuerbach simply says that God has created this human civilization yet to be proved. See, God came on the land for making this temple, mosque and gurdwaras. Who made these gurdwaras, mosque and temples? We the people. See, who created the heaven? And see, why there was a need of heaven? Very simple. Because once you took the best qualities of human being, then what this best quality of human being you can find out? Benevolence, love, care and share. What is the best qualities of human being you are imagining for? Imagine. What kind of best person you want to looking for? Like Lord Ram, Jesus, Prophet Muhammad. But we are unable to find them. So what I can do? Objectification. We are objectifying an artificial human being in form of God. So who is God? Who is God? Authority which keeps all the benevolent values inside himself. Therefore, who is God? Benevolent. Who is God? Sympathetic. Who is God? Transcendental. Therefore, what is the problem that lies in my mind, in my body, that belong to us? What are the best part that lies in a God? So we are looking for a perfect person, unable to search a perfect person. Therefore, we make a separate world and objectification of best qualities of human being. If you look, we can make a objectification of best qualities of human being. Then there is an incarnation of a God. Who is the God? Perfect moral idea. And why? Who is creating God? Human being. Who can be more materialist than Feuerbach? But Feuerbach says that matter is very different from ideas. Ideas are different world. Matter is a different. Marx also said that. See, religion is opium. Marx says that a religion is the heart of heartless world. A religion is sigh of a opium. Why we need a religion? Because there is too much exploitation happens in this world. Therefore, we are imagining a kind of a heaven where there will be no exploitation. But the question is that Feuerbach was very much supporting the idea of Marx. Then why Marx was criticizing Feuerbach? Again, materialism came. Marx did not agree with Hobbes. I told you the reason. Marx did not agree with Feuerbach. Therefore, if you want to explain about the dialectical materialism of Marx, let's see why he criticized Feuerbach. Marx says that the materialism of Feuerbach is a contemplative materialism. Materialism of Feuerbach is a contemplative materialism, ugly materialism. Why contemplative? Because for Feuerbach, matter is very separated from ideas. Matter and ideas lies in two different worlds. Because it is a human being who are creating God, not vice versa. Matter and ideas are connected with a causal relation, not dialectical. Marx says something else. But Marx says that, let's see, what is the idea of Marx? Marx says that there is a dialectical relation between the matter and ideas. And therefore, ideas impact matter, matter impact ideas. Again, I'm repeating. What Feuerbach? Why it is ugly materialism? Because Feuerbach believe in two separate worlds. One is the world of matter, one is world of ideas. And world of ideas very much imagination of world of matter, human being. Marx is saying no. Why contemplative? Because in ideas of Feuerbach, even ideas and consciousness became secondary. In Hegel, consciousness is primary. Hegel said just opposite to Feuerbach. Hegel being idealist, Hegel says that entire universe is created by God. Feuerbach says that human being has created the God. Marx says that both are wrong. Here Marx is having uniqueness of human being. Uniqueness of human being. Therefore, and what is uniqueness of human being? What is uniqueness? Here Marx tells about uniqueness of human being. Human being is a matter or human being is ideas? We born as a matter, but once we grow, we are having ideas. Therefore, human being is not like an atom. Human being have a consciousness. Human being, therefore, what is uniqueness of human being? Human being create a very different world because of his ideas, and it is ideas which is reflected is in labor. Therefore, whatever done by human being, it is because of ideas. How human being reflect itself while doing labor. While doing labor. How we reflect ourselves while do labor. Why we do labor? For create, for making of a creative ability. Through labor, we want to reflect our creative ability. We are not engaging labor, and whatever we are doing, we are having the consciousness to do something. Object doesn't have consciousness. Animal world don't have this consciousness, but human being is having consciousness what we are doing. And you know that we are very unique. We keep one world inside our mind. That is uniqueness of human being. How we create a world. First, world became object of our thinking. First we are internalizing this entire world. But what Marx says that once we are having labor, why we are doing labor? For reflecting our personality. Why we are doing labor? To making an artificial world. हमने लेबर से पूरी दुनिया के आर्टिफिशियल वर्ल्ड बनाए हैं. एंड सवाल ये है, इन्फोसिस इज आइडिया और मैटर? बोथ. Infosys is both ideas and matter. Therefore, obviously, Narayana Murthy made Infosys. So obviously, he had some education. So social condition impacted his life. There was economic condition which saved the life of Narayana Murthy. But later, he also created an artificial world, which is matter, but reflection of ideas of individual. Reflection of ideas of individual. Therefore, whatever you are making, a person who is making a craft is idea, craft is only matter. Both. Therefore, this division between matter and idea is not sufficient. Therefore, human being is a passive or active? Active. If human being is active, then merely an object or a creator. Creator. If human being is a creator, therefore, even he is having ability to make entire science. What Marx said that human being is a active. Human being is a creator, not God. Human being is active. Human being is the creator. The question is that what is created by human being? State. Created by human being, government. Created by human being, government. But what is matter of fact is that we are under subjugation of this artificial world which is made by us. Who made this artificial world? We. We means everybody who involved in labor. But why laborers are under subjugation? Because of this capitalism. And who will break down this capitalism? Automatically there is a material force, but we need ideas and activity. Who will change this world? Through action, through activities of individual, or it is only material change? Then Marx says that human being is active. This is known as a human being is a revolutionary. Why human being is engaging in revolution? Only for getting bread and butter? No. They are involved in revolution for making a new world. And how this new world will be there? this new world will be idea or matter? Because again I am saying animals don't have any ideas. Animals do something without having any ideas. Animals are bounded by these natural forces. Animals never empower over the natural forces. Human being is always have the ability to control this nature. We have controlled the nature through AC. And let's see, even once human being makes some painting in house is only for living or it is for the making painting? और आपको पता है what is the uniqueness of human being? Once we are making cooking, आपने देखा है बिल्ली कभी कुकिंग करते चूहे को मार को दाल फ्राई कर रही हो? Even oh my god, so many people are saying the lion is the king of a jungle. I don't believe. अरे किंग है तुरंत मार के खा जाता है, कुछ एमडीएच का मसाला उसमें लगा लेता, तब तो बात बनती ना. एमडीएच का मसाला नहीं लगाया, तड़का नहीं मारा, खा लिया वैसे. We have a creative ability even in food too. Uniqueness of human being. Even we have a creative ability to making a fashion industry. We are very creative. This creative tendency doesn't find either in matter or in animals. Therefore, human beings are not like animals. Human beings are not like matters. Unique species in this universe who made this world because of ideas. But very interesting, this world is very much impacting ideas of individual, and ideas of individual is shaping this world. करोल बाग ने आपको इन्फ्लुएंस किया या आप यहां से इन्फ्लुएंस हुए? मार्क्स ने दुनिया को चेंज कर दिया या दुनिया ने मार्क्स को चेंज कर दिया? दोनों चीजें हैं. अरे had Marx not been living in capitalism, how he come with thought of exploitation, class, so divided society? But individual creator, therefore individual is looking for making a new world, and that will be world of communism. That is an example that Marx is a revolutionary. Marx is not only now just you understand the ideas of Marx. Marx is a revolutionary or only scientist? Here he speak about unity in theory in action. Therefore it is wrong to say that for him he was scientist only, he was a philosopher, he was a scientist, and oh my god, he was a revolutionary. That is known as ideas of praxis. He changed the world. How the world changed? Only through matter or through ideas? Only through matter or through ideas? Both. ये पूरा डिबेट चलता है. क्योंकि डायलेक्टिकल मैटर से थोड़ा पूछा जाए क्वांटिटेटिव चेन, देन क्वालिटेटिव चेन, बच्चों वाली बातें हैं सब.